Hi, I'm Travis. Growing up in suburban Chicago, I always thought family meant everything, until I learned what it meant to be the forgotten child. At 32, I've built a successful career as an architect, bought my own home, and created a life I'm proud of. But every family gathering became a reminder of where I stood in my parents' hierarchy of love. My sister Karen, 2 years older, has 3 kids, twins Amy and Adam, both 12, and 8-year-old Sophie. Don't get me wrong, I love my nieces and nephew. But over the years, I watched my parents drain their retirement savings for private school tuition, expensive summer camps, and lavish birthday parties, while my own milestones went unnoticed. Last summer, I landed a major project designing an eco-friendly community center. When I shared the news at our monthly family dinner, Mom barely looked up from helping Sophie with her art project. "That's nice, dear. Did you hear Amy made the honor roll again?" My best friend Marcus noticed the pattern long before I admitted it. "They missed your housewarming to attend Adam's Little League game? That's the third time they've canceled on you this month." Even my girlfriend Rachel saw it clearly. "Travis, they forgot your birthday but sent Karen on a spa weekend for hers. This isn't normal." The breaking point came when I overheard Mom and Dad discussing their finances in the kitchen. They were planning to sell their lake house, the one they'd promised would be my inheritance since I was 10. The house where I spent every summer learning to fish with Dad, where I first dreamed of becoming an architect. "Karen needs help with the kids' college funds," Dad said. "Travis is doing fine on his own." That night, I sat in my home office, surrounded by childhood photos and family mementos. Each one told a story of being pushed aside, of achievements overlooked, of love measured in unequal portions. But among these memories, I found something else. Documented proof of years of financial decisions that would shock our extended family. Looking at the lake house photo on my wall, I made a decision. This Christmas wouldn't be like the others. The truth needed to come out, not for revenge, but for healing. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for a family is to break the cycle of favoritism that's poisoning it. I picked up my phone and called my Aunt Susan, Mom's sister, and the family's voice of reason. "We need to talk about Christmas dinner," I said. "There's something you should know." Aunt Susan's reaction validated years of my suspicions. Over coffee at her downtown condo, I spread out the documents I'd gathered: bank statements, property records, and years of carefully logged incidents. "Your mother told me they couldn't attend your architecture firm's award ceremony because they were sick." Susan frowned, scrolling through Karen's social media posts. "But here they are at Sophie's dance recital that same night." That's just the beginning. I pulled up emails from my parents' shared account. They'd accidentally copied me on discussions about liquidating assets. They've been secretly selling off family heirlooms. Remember Grandma Rose's antique collection? All gone to fund the twins' tennis lessons? My phone buzzed. Rachel texting about dinner plans. She'd been documenting everything too, taking videos at family gatherings showing how my parents lavished attention on Karen's kids while barely acknowledging my presence. Marcus dropped by later with interesting news. As a financial advisor, he'd noticed something odd about my parents' recent loan applications. "They're putting themselves in serious debt, Travis, the kind you don't recover from at their age." I spent the next week piecing everything together. Karen had been manipulating our parents for years, always having a new crisis, a new expense, a new reason why she needed more help. The twins needed tutoring, Sophie needed therapy. Her husband Tom lost another job. The truth? Tom hadn't lost his job. He'd quit to find himself while my parents funded their lifestyle. The kids' expensive programs weren't necessities. They were Karen's way of competing with other suburban moms. My cousin Emily, who worked at the kids' private school, confirmed my suspicions. They're not even using the tuition money for extra academic support. Karen bought a new SUV last month. The most shocking discovery came from Dad's secretary, Linda, who'd known our family for 20 years. "Your father's postponing his retirement because of the debts. Your mother's health isn't good, Travis. The stress is getting to her." I organized everything methodically. Photos, bank records, text messages, emails. Not for revenge, but for intervention. This wasn't just about me anymore. My parents were destroying their retirement, Karen was exploiting their generosity, and her kids were learning toxic lessons about financial responsibility. Rachel held my hand as I finalized my Christmas dinner plan. Are you sure about this? I looked at the latest family photo on my wall. Everyone gathered around Karen's kids, while I stood awkwardly at the edge. They need to see the truth, all of it, before it's too late. Aunt Susan called to confirm she'd help create the right moment at Christmas dinner. Your Uncle James and I will make sure everyone sees the evidence. No more hiding. I closed my laptop, knowing the next few days would change everything. The group chat with my cousins was already buzzing. Apparently, Karen had just asked our parents for money to buy a vacation home. Christmas Eve arrived with a blanket of snow and mounting tension. I watched through my parents' living room window as Karen's new SUV pulled into the driveway. Right on cue, Mom and Dad rushed out to help with the kids' presents, barely noticing my car already parked there for an hour. Inside, the usual chaos unfolded. Sophie showing off her new tablet. Grandma and Grandpa got it early, the twins comparing their matching smartphones. Meanwhile, my carefully chosen gift for Mom sat unopened under the tree. Travis, could you move your car? Karen breezed in. Tom needs the prime spot since his knee is acting up again. The same knee that apparently didn't bother him during last week's golf game, according to his public Facebook posts. Rachel squeezed my hand supportively as we relocated. Your aunt just texted. They're 5 minutes away. The extended family arrived in waves. Aunt Susan and Uncle James, cousins Emily and Michael, even Dad's brother Robert, who'd flown in from Denver. Karen seemed unusually tense, especially when Aunt Susan mentioned casually, I ran into Linda from your father's office yesterday. Mom busied herself in the kitchen, avoiding the growing crowd. I'd never seen her look so tired. Dad kept checking his phone, probably monitoring account balances. The twins started arguing about their private tennis coach. But Mom said Grandpa promised to pay for both of us to go to summer training camp. That's when Rachel noticed Mom's hands shaking as she carried in appetizers. Sarah, let me help you with those. Mom's wedding ring was missing. The family heirloom she'd promised would be passed down. Karen cornered our parents in the hallway. I overheard snippets. The down payment is due next week. You promised to help. The kids need their own pool. Aunt Susan caught my eye and nodded. Uncle James had already connected his laptop to the TV under the pretense of showing holiday photos. Emily positioned herself near Karen's kids, ready to keep them occupied. The final catalyst came when Karen announced her big news during dinner. We've put an offer on a vacation house in Lake Geneva. Mom and Dad are helping us make it happen. Dad's face went pale. Mom started to cry. That's when I stood up, USB drive in hand. Actually, Karen, we need to talk about that, about all of it. I moved toward Uncle James's laptop. I have something everyone needs to see. This isn't the time, Karen snapped, but Aunt Susan was already dimming the lights. It's exactly the time, Rachel said firmly, standing beside me. The room fell silent as I pulled up the first document. Mom's medical records showing stress-induced health issues, Dad's postponed retirement papers, the home equity loan applications, Karen's secret credit cards in our parents' names. What is this? Karen's husband, Tom, shifted uncomfortably. This, I said, clicking through the evidence, is the truth about what's been happening to our family. The evidence unfolded on the screen like a well-documented nightmare. Credit card statements showing Karen's lavish spending. Social media posts contradicting every financial emergency she'd claimed. The steady drain of our parents' retirement accounts. Those are private family matters. Karen stood up, face flushed. Exactly. Family matters. Aunt Susan's voice cut through the tension. Like how your brother hasn't had a birthday dinner in 3 years while you've taken 5 luxury vacations on your parents' credit. Tom stared at the screen, particularly at the documents showing his supposed job losses were voluntary resignations. Karen, you told me your parents offered to support us while I pursued my passions. The twins looked uncomfortable. Mom, is that why you told Grandma to sell her jewelry? For our tennis lessons? Dad sat heavily in his chair, looking older than I'd ever seen him. We just wanted to help the kids. The kids don't need tennis coaches and vacation homes, I said firmly. They need grandparents who can afford their own retirement. They need to learn responsibility, not entitlement. Mom was quietly crying, clutching the empty space where her wedding ring used to be. Emily stepped forward, placing a small box on the table. I found this at the pawn shop where Karen sold it. Rachel and I pooled our money to get it back. The room exploded into conversations. Uncle James pulled out financial recovery plans he'd prepared. Aunt Susan started making calls to her realtor friends to halt Karen's vacation home purchase. My cousins surrounded the kids, assuring them nothing was their fault. I've already contacted the credit card companies, I announced. They're investigating the unauthorized accounts, and Linda provided proof that Karen forged Dad's signature on loan documents. The police will handle that part. Karen's face crumpled. You're destroying our family. No, Rachel stepped forward. Travis is saving it. Your parents need medical care and retirement security, not more debt. Your kids need normal childhoods, not constant indulgence. The next few hours transformed our family. Dad accepted Uncle James's offer to manage their finances. Mom hugged me for the first time in years, whispering, I'm so sorry we didn't see what was happening. Tom took the kids home, leaving Karen to face the consequences. The police arrived discreetly to take statements about the financial fraud. Aunt Susan outlined a repayment plan for every dollar Karen had manipulated from our parents. As the night wound down, I found myself in the kitchen with my parents. Dad pulled out an envelope, the lake house deed. We almost lost everything that mattered, he said, including you. Mom slipped her recovered wedding ring back on. Your father and I are selling the lake house, but not for Karen. We're using half to secure our retirement, and half to pay you back for every milestone we missed. Keep the money, I said. Just promise me two things. First, family counseling, all of us. Second, we create new traditions, starting with my birthday next month. Looking around at our healing family, Rachel discussing recovery plans with my parents, the cousins playing board games, Aunt Susan coordinating with the fraud department, I realized something powerful. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting better. Karen would face legal consequences for her actions, but more importantly, our family would finally face the truth. And in that truth, we found something we'd lost long ago. Real love, not measured in dollars, but in genuine care and respect. What would you do if you discovered your parents secretly sold precious family heirlooms, like your grandmother's antique collection, just to fund your siblings' extravagant lifestyle? Should Travis have exposed Karen's manipulation during Christmas dinner, or was there a better way to handle this family crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and opinions might help others dealing with similar family situations. If this story of family dynamics and difficult truths resonated with you, consider subscribing to catch more compelling real-life stories. Hit that like button if you support Travis's decision to prioritize his parents' well-being over keeping family secrets. Remember, sometimes the hardest conversations are the most necessary ones. Until next time.